But hey, everybody, my name is Ted Stewart. I'm the Program Development and Compliance Manager here for exida. I have a little over 10-year experience. I started my career with Lockheed Martin, where I worked in missiles and fire control. This is where I got my lean process improvement, my green belt, the Six Sigma thing there. I then moved over to Harris Corporation as a um, manufacturing engineer. This is where I became the lead engineer for that organization for 14 different classified products, where we basically made little black boxes that could locate and track people. Super fun. Basically, I can't really talk about the type of work I did inside there, but just know that, man, if you can imagine it, people can make these things. It was really cool. And then my wife and I were working, my wife was consulting for exida at the time from Florida. And long story short, they basically said, look, we'd like both of you guys to work for us. So they gave us a joint offer. We worked together. We've been working together for 6 years now. And we moved from sunny Florida to Pennsylvania outside of Philly. And it's been a complete culture shock, but I'm starting to love it. I love the season, so everything is great. But what's even better is the company that exida is. I get to manage the OEM certification division. I'm the deputy quality manager, and I also am the director of the CFSP, or now so the ACE, or excuse me, CACE program. So I get to wear a lot of different hats. Every day I come into the office, it's something new. It's exciting. I get to put fires out every day, and it's kind of like a big problem-solving thing. Like, what are we going to do next? Because of how we've grown, it seems like there's a little place on the map that shows up every year. This year was India. So we've opened the office of India this year. We've hired 1 or 2 different people already. We have plans to expand even more. Really, really exciting stuff. And I think the fastest growing area between functional safety and alarm management is actually in cybersecurity. And that's kind of what I'm gearing all these slides to, is with all of our internal silos that we have here, whether it's consulting, we can help you with whatever part of the standard in 62443 that you would like. If it's engineering tools, you have things like CyberFacts. If it's product certification, with product certification, how the standard is presented to us, right? There's still some pieces of it that are in draft or in technical review that are yet to be released. However, the majority of it is, but it's really nice, even though it seems like it should be, I don't know, 10 different standards within there. As long as you know which pieces apply to you, the standard's fantastic. So right now there is some confusion with, okay, well, do I use IEC 62443 4-1? Do I use 4-2, 3-3, 2-4, right? And what I tell people is, look, send me a quick email. Let me know what type of person, who you like, what type of industry you're in, and what kind of job you want to do. And I can kind of weed through and filter out what exactly piece of the standard will apply to you, and you can move forward and do whatever you'd like. So I always say it's just easier that way. Training, one thing that we'll talk about at the end here is we are actually going to give our first online training, which is kind of exciting in cybersecurity. It's going to be at the end of this month. I'll show that here at the conclusion of this presentation. I just want to keep moving for now, especially since I'm 13 minutes behind schedule. With reference materials, we do publish probably one of the most reference materials out there. What we like to do is we basically say, the faster we can teach our audience, the faster we can teach end users, the manufacturers about these topics, the faster we can move on to the next topic and kind of keep paving the way. We have guys here that specifically, guys and gals that specifically just work on research, because we're always trying to get better. We're trying to improve, and that's kind of like the whole mentality of this webinar here. Everybody on this webinar wants to improve themselves, right? And that's why you're here. You're either wanting a certificate, you want a certification, or you're looking for information, maybe for your team, to apply this to your team aspect. And like I said, that last silo or so there, that's the personnel certification. That's what we'll talk about. Here's just a quick slide on reference materials, like I spoke about. We try and publish everything. We like to be an open book. I think, which one was it? The latest book we did was a Final Elements book by Chris O'Brien and Lauren Stewart. That's in that top left-hand corner there. And by the end of this year, maybe early next year, we'll actually come out with a cybersecurity book as well, which is very exciting. Working really hard with that. Okay. I spent a lot of time on this already. I'm going to spend the time on it again because you guys can hear me now. So I'm pretty passionate about bettering yourselves, team efforts, and so I spend a little bit of this time. I tell a couple quick stories, and I promise I'll get off the soapbox quickly. But I read all these articles and I try and really just make the most out of every single day. And I was reading this article by Eric, I believe his last name is Deschamps, D-E-S Champ. He's from Rhapsody Strategies, and he basically said, look, you're gonna get what you pay for. You're gonna reap what you sow, and you get out of life what you put in it. Makes sense, right? Well, those successful people, they understand this principle. That's why they go above and beyond what's expected. And so the importance of possessing a clear and compelling vision of your future, it cannot be understated. But you got to consider that, successful people, they don't just dream about doing extraordinary things. Many people talk about doing these things. They're the ones that actually go out there and they do it. They do these extraordinary things, and they do it because why? Besides having the determination, the discipline, they're actually out there doing it, making it a reality, because they know that whoever invests the most is whoever's going to get those rewards. And even on my door at my office, some people think I'm a little crazy, but I don't, because I know it works. I say, look, the luckier you are is the harder you work. So if you need luck, and someone says, oh, you're so lucky, it's like, no, it's because I've been working so hard. You don't see how hard I work. That's why I'm lucky, if you want to call me luck, right? So if you want luck, just start working harder, and lucky things start happening to you. A quick joke, or not a joke, but just kind of a cool little fun thing that you guys can steal and pass on if you're in the industry of telling stories and trying to get people on, is tell people, look, someone once told me that there's 4 kinds of bones in this world. You can be a wishbone, who's someone who spends their time wishing that someone else would do the work for them. You can be a jawbone. These type of people are the ones that do all that talking, but they don't really do a whole lot else. Probably can name a few of those. You got the knuckle bones. Those are the people who knock on everything. They kind of tell you can't do it. If you can try do something, they say, no, you can't do it. Don't worry about it. And then you got backbones, right? I kind of feel like the people that are on this call are those backbone type people. They they put the load on the shoulders to get the job done, because what we realize is that it's to be successful and to be a failure, it's almost a very thin line, because success, in my opinion, it's really created through the performance of, let's just say, a few small things or small daily disciplines that stack up over time, and they start producing these little achievements. But the achievements in a long period of time, they stack up to things that you couldn't even dream that you could do. And these little success habits, they're so easy to do every single day that most people just don't do them because they don't think it's going to make a difference. Now, failure, it's almost the same thing, where it's so easy to slip into. Failure is nothing more than just an inevitable outcome of these small little acts of daily neglect, right, performed consistently over time to basically a point of no return. And kind of want to give one quick example. Like I said, I'll jump off the soapbox. I love it. And then we can go into the difference between a certification, and those paths. But, here's a quick example for those, because I hear this one all the time. And being in management and helping to manage different types of people, you hear, man, I'm just slammed at work. I'm underwater. I'm in the weeds. I just can't get myself out of it. Or I don't have time for myself, right? Well, I used to be one of those people where, look, maybe I'm still one of those people during work. You have so much going on. You go in every single direction. Here's what I started doing. I love to cycle, right? I have my road bike. I love it. So what did I do? I took my own advice, and I woke up every single day now. I get up an hour earlier than I used to. What happened? I immediately got an extra 30 hours a month. That's almost an extra work week every 30 days, right? If you think about it. So what did I do this year with that extra hour? Well, hey, I want to ride my road bike, so I want to do something for myself. Last year, I only got to ride maybe like 300 miles total in 2017. I mean, that's like less than a mile a day, right? I mean, that's on a bike, that's nothing. Now, starting 2018 to date, since January, I've already rode over 1,400 miles. And I feel no difference. All I did is I woke up a little bit earlier. I started having a little bit of time for myself, because, look, I truly believe that everybody is a leader. It's just, do you choose to be one or not? If someone says you can't be a leader, that's false. I mean, you just need to hang out with different people. So that's what this webinar is going to be about. Okay, I'm off the soapbox here. I appreciate it. And I got more questions here. I'm going to get to all your questions here at the end of this webinar, but I'm glad you guys can all hear me now. So there's different types of levels, right, for competency, whether you're going to do a certificate program or certification. The first one, and there's a different organization. So just because I'm going to speak about Exida and maybe a few others doesn't mean you have to go with us. I just know them the best, okay? So at a certificate level, right, you see at the bottom there, the certificate program, we have something called a cybersecurity practitioner. This addresses the need to provide information that basically that attendee showed competency by retaining knowledge that was presented in that course. So they take a training and then take an exam based off of that knowledge. The next level is where you start becoming, okay, we're competent, but now if you're going to become a CACS or a CACE, which stands for Certified Automation Cybersecurity Specialist, or Certified Automation Cybersecurity Expert. All right, the expert is kind of like your gold standard, it's the top of the top, cream of the crop. It's the one that those leaders and mentors in our industry are achieving already, and those are the ones that are taking it to the next level, right? Those are those the people that, like I said, the leaders, the mentors, where a certificate program are people that just they just need the competency to retain the knowledge, maybe for a specific task, a role, a position in their company, and that's all that they needed. So what is the two differences between there? Well, there will be some qualification differences. Usually a certificate, people will put qualifications on a certificate program. I feel slightly different on that. I feel don't make anything a bigger deal than it needs to be. A certificate, if someone's going to slap maybe 10 years of experience to take a certificate, it's basically saying, look, you need 10 years to take a training class. I don't get it. Maybe I just see it differently, but I say no. You don't need any experience if you want a certificate program. If you can provide to me evidence that you can sit through this training and you can pass that exam at the end, why not give you the certificate, right? And so that's how we feel at Exida. If you go to other agencies, it is different. Some agencies even have, hey, you're gonna have to take my training again in 3 years when you renew. No, we don't believe in that either. We say, look, you're coming, you're gonna take your training class. If you want to take the training class again to learn, please, by all means, sit through it. Some agencies have certificate programs that you have to take like a bunch of trainings in order to get a certificate. We kind of say, well, look, if you're going to take a specific training, you'll get a certificate for that training. And that's how we kind of piece things through. But yeah, so look into it. Whatever one best fits for you, that's great. But no, a certificate is someone that takes a training and passes an exam based off of that training. Certification is different. Certification is usually, it's normally, I say normally because some don't do this, but it's operated per ISO 17024. That's the standard for personnel accreditation. That's what, so like if someone wanted to run a certification program, they have to basically base it off of 17024. That's what the CACE, CACS program is. It's based off of that standard. There are qualifications where you need certain years of experience. You have to turn in certain forms. If you want more information, actually someone asked in the earlier presentation, so I'll make sure I get you guys. What I'm going to do is all the questions that are asked today, I'll type them out. I'll provide answers to all of them. I'll PDF the file and I'll send it to all of you guys here, that guys and gals that are on this call here, so that you have it. So for a certification, it's really, look, training is not required. If training is required, it's not a certification. Because what they're saying is, look, if you're a leader or you're a mentor in the industry, we don't care if you take the trainings. That's great. If you want refreshers, that's kind of responsible. But you should be able to take the standard, IEC 62443, and whatever reference materials that you have, you should be able to have your information in front of you, and within a certain allotted period of time, take this exam and pass it successfully, not really knowing what the material is going to be on that exam. Maybe you can know the subject areas, right? But not say, oh, what slide was that on? I remember that question, So that's the difference between the two. If you have more questions on that, let me know. So where do you fit in? Like I said, the certificate program is one where an individual will take that training program to gain that personal knowledge. A lot of people will have the certificate program in place because why? Companies will have a better feeling of paying for people to go and take these courses, because now they can provide evidence when they come back of competency. We've even had people that have to pass, or they have to pay for the training themselves. That's a little bit of pressure. So that's what's great about the certificate program. It keeps you moving. You can even have accolades, where I'll talk about the next slide, where you can actually put it in your signature. Then, of course, the next step is your certification program. That is that mentor, that leadership kind of role. And so those are the two differences there. For your CFSP or your certificate program, whichever one you do choose, the advantage is what? It provides that proof of competency. It does increase your value of an employee. It differentiates yourself from your competitors. And it's actually really nice to do if you're looking to become a mentor or a leader. Because why? It actually helps you and shares with you where your strengths and your weaknesses lie. So when you're taking this course, you can and you take an exam, you'll learn what you missed. You'll learn what you're great at, what you need to spend time in and learning. And then you can go off on your own, spend a month or two, maybe however much time you need, and then come back and take like the CAC or CACS when you want to become that expert in the field. Certification, it's just that another step higher. You can put the credentials on your signature like you see below. What we're seeing, just like in functional safety, is there's actually roles and positions out there that are starting to require a cybersecurity certification. And you're going to have to list to show provide your competencies. Sometimes you can get by if you just take a certificate program. That usually means maybe it's not something that you need completely, but you just need to have some knowledge in cybersecurity. So a certificate program usually works. But the real competency or the mastery is when you become when you take like a certification. What programs are out there? Well, for us, we do have 3 different types of specialties. This will increase. It will. There will be more specialties as things grow, because as everyone on this webinar knows, as time goes on, cybersecurity changes, right? And I feel as though for functional safety, we kind of had the easy way out. Once you get the principles, you're good for a while. Cybersecurity, man, it feels like every 2, 3, 4 months, our training material is changing. We're going to different webinars or we're going to different conferences, and wow, I mean, the knowledge that you can learn in a couple months' time it's crazy how fast this industry is changing. So every training of ours and every exam that we give is almost a living document, because things are constantly moving and becoming more sophisticated. And even some of the most sophisticated attacks that you see out there, almost a novice can do, because why? There's detailed plans on how to do certain things, and it's scary. But without creating a doomsday kind of a pitch here, look, stay up to date, read your material, join some of these platforms, cybersecurity platforms that are helping you stay up to date with the latest things that are going on, and you're good to go, right? So if you do want to take one of these exams, pick one that best suits you. If you don't know which one you would fit, like a process engineer up there, this is normally someone that kind of works as in a general role of cybersecurity. So if you're not really specialized in one thing, this is the one you want to pick. It kind of touches IEC 62443 4-2 and 2-4 a little bit. If you want the device or application engineer one, this is someone that's kind of more product specific. Maybe you work on the embedded control products or any kind of platform device, or you're in software. This is kind of 4-1 and 4-2, right? More like almost like a product certification type of thing. And then you have the system engineer. This is more maybe an integrator, a solutions provider, someone that takes many devices, they put them together in a network or into a system. The piece of the standard here would be like 4-1, 2-4, 3-3. Now, when I say these numbers, for some of you that are unfamiliar, I'm really saying IEC 62443 and then 4-1, 2-4, 3-3, because this standard has so many different pieces to it. But only a few of it, like I said, are going to apply to you. When we go and we talk about cybersecurity training, there's a lot of different courses out there. The one that I was speaking about earlier, if you could hear me at the time, that we're doing an online training, I believe. So I'm going to cheat real quick. There it is at the very top, CS201. This is on security software development. what that really is going to be, it's going to be 5 half days. So you can sit either at your office or at your home in your PJs, and you'll get to talk to an instructor live. You just won't be face to face with them. So it's kind of nice. You don't have that travel budget, which is really helping a lot of people. So we're going to try and do more and more of those, but there is one coming up at the end of this month. Anyways, so you have all these different training courses. If you're interested, ISA has a bunch of training courses, and there's some other agencies as well. So I thought one unique one that I didn't even realize we even have a training program for cybersecurity for employees and contractors, or for integrators and solutions providers. So like I said, these things are developing so quickly that I'd say in a couple months you'll even see a few more specialty of training programs as well. Well, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I know I kind of kept it kind of brief. A really important thing that I don't think a lot of people take advantage of, I know most of you do, these social media platforms, they're kind of, you get what you put out in them, right? So the ones that we have here at exida, if you want to know about the latest things going on in all the industries, follow us, like us, whatever it is. We always give out free white papers, and you'll hear more about these webinars, and who knows, it might be able to help you out, the trainings that are there. And then I'm going to jump on all these different questions that I have. Here's a quick slide. If you're looking for some training, if you don't see something there, like I had an individual this morning looking for something in the UK, we were able to help him out. But yeah, if you need something, send us a link, and we can even just do something custom for your organization. So all right, let me get to some of these questions. Thanks so much for taking the time with me. I'm so sorry that the first 13 minutes I was muted. Hopefully you can forgive me, but thanks so much for the heads up. All right. Are there any books that you would recommend in getting into industrial cybersecurity? Well, one, currently, yes. Oh man, there's a book by, and I usually put this in my slides, there's a book by Microsoft. I believe they came out the first one. Microsoft came out with a book, a really great intro book. What I'll do for you, one, is I have your question here. I'll add it to my list of questions for my PDF that I'm going to send out to everybody. And I'll even put a list of different books that we like here at exida that really got us on the map and catapulted us through this industry to now that we're writing our own book. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Great question. Okay, next question I have here are, what are the requirements to be a CACE? Do I have to be a CSP? No, and that's a great question. I actually got that one this morning as well. The excuse me, so many acronyms. Let's just call it the certificate program, right? That requires a training. You do not have to take that. You do not have to pass that exam to be to take the CACE, which is a certification. If I were to tell you, yes, you have to take the CSP to be a CACE. Let's just make this easier. Let's put the things in front of us. So you don't have to be step 1 to get to step 2. You can go straight to step 2. You can be a CACE, because if I told you how to take a training, which is step 1, that completely neglects the whole reason why a certification exists, because a certification means you don't need a training. So that's why there is no requirement as far as being a CSP before you can be a CACE. But there are requirements as far as like a CAC, you have to have 10 years of industry experience. You have to have some referee statements. You have to do a case study to provide your justification. And all that's located on the website. I can even, I'll provide links, and when I send the answers out to everybody, I can put that in there as well. But that's another great question. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Are there any study guides? At this moment, we do have, I didn't list it. It's because we're doing a change here, but if you're in the IT, OT, networking type of frame, we're reorganizing our structure as far as the type of exams. We do have a study guide for IT, OT. Really, it's just for that industry. As far as the other 3 here, they're all in the works. We're working very hard to get them done as soon as possible. And really, I kind of want to gently nudge anyone on this call to say, hey, look, send us an email saying, hey, I'm interested in this type of an exam, because that only the squeaky wheel gets to the cheese, right? So I think that's how that goes. But so whoever cries the loudest, in a sense, that's the one that people are going to work on the fastest. I do think that process engineering is going to be the next one with the study guide, really for OEMs. But however, the system engineering with integrators, we're getting a ton of integrators that are looking our way. So that's also getting some attention. But we have 4 or 5 different individuals right now working on these exams, making sure everything's up and running. We got the study guides in place and trying to get that book finished as well. So great question. Any other questions? Let's see here. I did have a question from this morning that I thought was interesting. I even added an extra slide here. The question that I got, they were talking about, well, how do I, if I'm working on a certain type of project, how do I know what certification would work for a product certification, right? So for people, so I threw this slide in here. And the slide here is the different schemes of certification, whether you have, if you want your process certified, a device certified, or if you have a system that you're trying to certify. I think I can share this. I'll get the approval, but if you want to take a look at it, really what I'm saying is that for personnel certification, it falls right in the same sense. So the top piece with that above the gray bar, if you notice, that's going to be your process cybersecurity personnel certification. The middle is going to be for your device or application, and then the bottom area, that's going to be for your system engineer, your integrator or solutions provider. So that's how that all lines up, because someone did ask, well, how does it line up with our actual products itself, so I know where I should fall. And so hopefully that was a nice explanation there. Great questions. If you have more questions, by the way, because I did answer all of them right now, please feel free, send me a quick email. It's right there in front of you, and I'll do my best to try and get these questions and answers to you in your inbox. And I just want to thank everyone. I'm sorry for my little technical difficulty at the beginning, but thank you so much for hanging in there with me, and have a great day. Take care from now. Thanks again. Cheers. Bye-bye.